everyone, my name is Lacey. You are joining me for a prenatal yoga practice featuring one of these beautiful things, a birth ball. So this class is great during all 3 trimesters of pregnancy. I'm currently 39 weeks, so very close to the end. This class is really great, especially for 3rd trimester people. So we will be going over some things that you can do for a more pain-free labor. We will be also going into some things that are good for positioning of baby. So 3rd trimester is great, but all 3 trimesters are also perfectly fine for our practice. So we'll get started on our birth ball. So go ahead and come into a seat on your birth ball. And you just want to make sure that your legs are about at a 90-degree angle, more or less. So the shins are parallel to the wall behind you, thighs are parallel to the floor. You just want to make sure your birth ball is blown up big enough or at a good enough height so that you can have that position. If not, if you're a little lower, that's okay too. Just work with what you have today. Then just get comfortable here. Take your hands down to your belly, close your eyes, and start to breathe down into your belly. And if you're breathing and you want to invite just a small sway of the hips from side to side or gentle bounce up and down, you can. That small bounce up and down can be nice for positioning baby, for drawing the baby's head a little bit lower. If you feel unstable here at all, which can happen during pregnancy, you just want to make sure that you're close enough to a wall so that that can support you. But wherever you are, start to breathe down into your hands, just feeling the belly rise and inflate with each breath in. And feeling it soften as you breathe out. A gentle inflation as you breathe in. And then soften as you breathe out. And we'll start to add some pelvic floor exercises to this breath. So pelvic floor exercises are really nice to do on the birth ball because you're making contact with a surface. So you can kind of feel some of the movement in the pelvic floor. So with your eyes closed or your gaze soft, take another breath into your belly. And as you exhale, just imagine drawing the muscles of your pelvic floor upward and inward. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, drawing back upward and inward so the diamond of your pelvis comes a little closer together. Inhale, expanding, and that rest is just as important as that contraction, as that engagement. And then as you exhale, again, draw the pelvic floor muscles up and in. And just let that breath go. Let your hands soften down to your legs. And you can widen your feet apart as you do this. Start to just gently rock your hips a little bit side to side. We now have Blue joining us. Thank you for coming to our class today, Blue. It's my dog. You may or may not be able to see her. She's just staring at me. So just rocking the hips from side to side. Yeah. Then we'll start to do a few cats and cows here. So you might take your feet a little narrower, ground your hands down to your thighs, and then draw your chest forward, forward, forward. You might lift your gaze upward. Thanks, Blue. Good, and then exhale to round your spine. You can rock your pelvis a little as you do this. As you inhale, maybe rock forward, lifting your heart. And then as you exhale, round your spine back. And take a few more of these. Inhale, rocking forward, lifting the heart. Exhale, rounding back. And just take a few more of those. Rocking your hips forward and back as you arch and round your spine. You can either stick with these small movements or you can make those movements a little bigger. So as you lean forward, you might reach back for the edges of your birth ball, drawing the shoulders in, lifting your heart. And then you might fold all the way down over your legs as you exhale, drawing your tailbone back, maybe softening your chin down to your chest. And then just do that a little bigger one more time. Lean yourself back, maybe reaching back for the edges of your birth ball if you don't have a dog chewing your hand. And then lean yourself forward, maybe crawling your hands down to the ankles. Good, and then come back upright and start to make a few circles around with your hips. So just making O shapes with the hips, making this big if that feels good in your body. Just getting a little bit of motion. Yeah. Circling out. Yeah. Good, and then change, go the opposite way, circling, circling, circling around your hips. Yes, Blue, you love to play too, don't you? So after you finish those rounds of hip circles, we'll take a nice stretch of the back. So move very slowly as you're coming into this shape. Again, you might want a wall nearby you. You'll just start to walk yourself forward, 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 and carefully lean your forearms down onto the ball. And then you will walk so far forward that your hips will start to go downwards. At that point, which your hips start to lower and your head can press gently back onto the ball where that feels comfortable. You can either keep your arms where they were, or you can lift them overhead. Maybe you're imagining that you're holding a beach ball in your hands. And notice what you feel here. This should feel very restful, like a nice stretch for the back, a nice opening across the heart. You might rock a little forward and back. Good. Then you can walk your feet a little farther forward as you slowly lower your heels. You lower your bum all the way down close to the heels. So you're almost in a squat shape here. You're almost in a malasana shape. You can keep your arms reaching up if that feels comfortable. You can also have them forward. We'll take a few rounds of bridge here. So you can press into your feet and then start to lift your hips up. And then slowly, slowly lower them back down. Hands can come onto your hips as you do this. Lift your hips up, just engaging through the glutes. And then lower them back down. Just take a few more of those. Engaging through the glutes, opening through the chest. Again, this should feel nice. It should also be strengthening the glutes. Muscle that during pregnancy can tend to soften a little bit. Good. Take one more lift. And then next time you lower, you can stay all the way down. You'll carefully climb yourself around onto hands and knees. And then from hands and knees, you can use your birth ball to lift yourself up to standing. You might step 1 foot forward, tuck the back toes under, lift your back knee, and then come all the way up to standing, coming into mountain pose. So from standing, from your mountain pose, you can take your birth ball and place it onto a surface. That might be a chair, it might be a bed. You just want something lifted. If you don't have a surface to place it down onto, that's okay. You can skip this part and move on to the next. We'll just be here for a moment or two. So you're coming into almost kind of a downward facing dog with the birth ball. You can lean yourself forward onto the birth ball, walk your feet back, and just let your forehead or your cheeks soften down to one side. And you can give your hips a slow sway from side to side. I'm taking another stretch for the back. Another stretch across the back body, across the heart as well. Maybe feeling your heart drop downward towards the ground. You could take soft cats and cows here, really shallow, and just slowly arching and rounding the spine. Or maybe just swaying the hips a little more, figure eighting them if that feels good in your body. This is one shape that can be really nice to do during labor, to bring baby downwards. Can be really nice if it feels good in your body. Good. And then to come out, just walk your feet back towards the ball. Roll yourself upright, coming all the way to stand. So next thing you'll do with your birth ball, you'll come to a wall, and we'll just be at this wall for a few moments. We'll be doing a few wall sits with the birth ball. So in order to pick the birth ball up, make sure that you take your feet wide, kind of like a goddess stance, kind of like wider than hips width apart, toes pointing out. Bend your knees rather than dumping your body down to pick the ball up. Bend your knees, keeping your chest upright, lift the ball up, and then you'll take that ball behind you. Walk yourself far enough away from the wall so that you have space to press the ball into the wall. And we'll take a few squats here. So you can have your hands wherever is most comfortable. Maybe they come to your heart. Start to bend your knees, drawing the ball down the wall, coming into a squat, and then roll the ball back up, lifting yourself up. We'll do that a few times. Bend the knees, lower, lower, lower. And as you come down, you want to make sure your knees are tracking over your ankles more or less, not ahead of them, especially if you have any achiness of the knees. And then roll yourself back up. Good, take 2 more like that, and then we'll hold. Roll yourself down, lower, lower, lower. And then lift yourself up. This last one we'll hold. Roll yourself down, lower, lower, lower. Pause here. You might close your eyes. You might take your hands back to your belly where they started at the beginning of practice. And then breathe down into baby. Breathe out. One more time, breathe down. Breathe out. Good, and then slowly, slowly lift yourself back up. Walk your feet back towards the wall, and you can let that ball go. Come off the wall, come back to your mat if you have one, and we'll come into a shape similar to the one that I showed with that chair. So you're welcome to take the version with the chair if that feels better in your body, or you can take it without, as I'm about to show. We will take first more of a downward facing dog variation. So rather than having the elbows bent, you'll have your arms fully extended, and you'll just walk your feet back until you come into a nice stretch over the ball. You can roll your ball forward as well until you hit that sweet spot. You want more or less a flat back here. So arms are extended, sits bones are moving backwards. Baby's hugging up and in still, so the core is just softly engaged. And if you are dealing with any nausea, any heartburn, any dizziness, the first variation I showed, the one on the chair, might feel nicer. But if this feels okay in your body, just breathe here for a few moments. You can sway your hips a little side to side. You can move through those shallow cats and cows again. Good, and then slowly roll the ball back to your body. Roll your spine back upright, one vertebra at a time. Head can be last up. Good. And then roll the ball just slightly back forward again. Step your right foot forward, angle your left toes towards the top left corner of your mat. We'll take a pyramid shape, a pyramid fold over this ball. So walk your hands forward, roll the ball forward until you feel not only a nice stretch through the back body, but also through the right hamstring this time. So through the back line of the right leg. Keep dialing both hips so that they're squared, so that both hips point forward and downward. And breathe where you feel sensation. Good, then roll your spine back upright. Switch your legs around. Left one comes forward, right toes angle in. Roll your ball forward, 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 lengthening out through your spine, lengthening out through the left hamstring. Dial both hip points downward. Breathe down to baby. Good, and then slowly, slowly roll yourself back upright, lifting up one vertebra at a time. So we'll make our way down to our mats through a squat, through Malasana. So walk yourself to the back of the mat, widen your feet so they're about hips width apart. And know that if squatting is not okay in your body, if it doesn't work for your hips, your pelvis, your knees, your ankles, any of that, feel free to skip this and come down to your mat any way that you need. Otherwise, Have a light touch of your hands on your ball. So to rock your hips side to side to side as you slowly lower yourself down into a squat. And this ball is really nice to support you here in a squat. So you can take it in between your thighs, maybe softening your head, your forehead down onto the ball. And this can be a really nice position to be in during labor as well. It can also be a really nice position to move baby downward to get that perfect spot for engagement. Perfect spot for birth. Good. And then you can set the ball forward, start to rock yourself out onto hands and knees. And actually, rather than coming down onto hands and knees, we'll come down onto ball and knees. So your hands, your arms can go onto the ball. Your knees can go down onto the floor. If you're having any sensitivity in the knees, if you're on a wood floor or anything hard, you'll definitely want to pad up your knees. Bring a little bit of cushioning, maybe sliding a pillow or a blanket underneath them. And then once you're comfy there, you can cross your arms over the ball and just hang out here for a few moments. This is also a great position to be in during labor. Get comfortable here, just maybe rocking your hips side to side again. Breathing in and out your nose. And letting your body fully soften for a moment or two. Letting the ball support your body. Notice if you're holding any effort, any gripping in the jaw, in the back of the neck, and the brow line, and the shoulders, or anywhere that is not necessary to keep you held here. And see if you can soften that. Then if you're feeling really great here, you're more than welcome to stay where you are. Otherwise, we'll take a puppy variation on the ball, on a Hatasana variation or melting heart variation. So you'll start to slide the arms forward, and then you can drop your forehead back down onto the ball. You might feel a little more sensation underneath the armpits here. You could again gently sway a little bit side to side, just rocking and breathing. Again, you want a little bit of engagement in the core, so belly hugs up and in. So you can stay here as long as you like, maybe just gently arching and rounding the spine, taking a few shallow rounds of cat and cow here. You could stay here, or you could take a tricep stretch here, bending your elbows, walking your elbows forward onto the ball, and you'll have to take the ball a little bit closer towards your body, a little bit more directly underneath your forehead to get that optimal positioning. And you can kind of sway, move your shoulders a little side to side until you find a sweet spot here. Breathe into the triceps, into the upper arms. Breathe in and out your nose. Good, and then re-extend your arms, rock yourself upright, coming into an upright spine. From here, step your left foot forward towards the front of your mat. And you can start to heel toe your left foot even farther forward, forward, forward. Lean yourself forward using the birth ball as support. You might start to feel some sensation into the right hip flexor, into the front top part of your right thigh. So just coming into a lizard lunge here. Take a few breaths. You could dip your chin down to your chest, softening, breathing. Lovely. And then back your hips up, straighten through your front leg. Draw your toes up to the ceiling. You can fold yourself down onto your birth ball here if that feels okay for your hamstring. Breathe in and out your nose. Maybe soften your forehead down onto the ball if you feel stable doing so. Maybe give your toes a few points and flexes. Noticing if that changes any sensation in the left calf muscle. Good, and then re-bend into your left knee. Heel toe your left foot out towards the left side, and I'll just pivot around so that you can see me a little better. With the left foot out towards the left side, start to rock yourself over to the left. left. You might feel some sensation in the left inner groin, a little gentle stretch there. And then rock yourself back through center, straightening the leg. And then do that again, rock yourself out, bending into the knee. And then come back through center. And next time, hold here. So rocking yourself out, maybe start to soften your elbows a little deeper down onto the ball. Maybe soften your forehead down. Good, and then re-straighten the leg. Keep your right hand down onto it's left hand for you, isn't it? Left hand down onto the ball, and then lean yourself off towards the left, reaching out through the right fingertips, taking a gentle side body stretch. Good, and then come back through center. We'll switch around to the second side. So you can heel toe your left foot all the way back. Step your right foot forward to the front of your mat. Start to heel toe your right foot even further forward if that feels okay in your body. Lean your hips forward and then breathe into the left hip flexor, breathing into the top front of the thigh. Good, walk yourself back, straighten off the front leg, and then start with the foot flex, so toes dialing toward your face. Once you are here, you can rock yourself down onto the ball, maybe softening your forehead downwards. Roll yourself up, re-bend into the right knee. And then you'll take the leg a little bit wider this time. So heel toe the right foot out towards the right side and lean your way over to the right. Again, maybe feeling some more sensation into the inner groin of the leg. Rock yourself back forward, straightening the leg, and then re-bend. Good, 2 more times like that. Rock out and rock back in. Rock out, and then hold this time. Breathing in and out your nose, maybe softening your elbows downwards. Good, when you are ready, re-straighten the leg. Keep your right hand down, lean over to the right side, lengthening through the left arm. And let that go, lift yourself back upright, re-bend into the knee. Step your way back, down onto your knees. We'll come into a child's pose with the birth ball. So widen your knees apart so they're more like mat's width. Bring your bum back to your heels. Keep your hands down onto the ball and then just lean your upper body forward, forward, forward. You can keep your arms extended or you can bend your elbows, whatever feels best in the body. Maybe shimmy your hips a little side to side. Maybe rock your upper body a little bit side to side. And let yourself soften even more here. Good, start to lift yourself back upright onto your knees, coming to stand on your shins. And then from here, come out into almost a full tabletop, but just the right hand down. So the left hand can stay on your birth ball. Start to reach your left arm forward of you, and then let your forehead become a little heavier down to the ground. You might feel like you did in puppy dog earlier, a little bit of a stretch underneath the left armpit. Pause here for a moment. Good, take that hand back, and then widen the hand all the way out to the left side, and then come back into a squared off position with your shoulders facing down to the mat. Hug your baby up and in, engaging through the belly just a little. Breathe into any sensation around the left side of your chest. Good, come back through center. And one last variation before we change sides. Bend through your left elbow so you're creating a cactus shape with your arm. And then take the elbow out to the side, so moving it about the same level of your shoulder. For this one, the birth ball can be a little bit closer in. Maybe it's directly underneath your left shoulder. Still drawing your belly up and in, still feeling a gentle sense of the core engaging. Breathe here. Good, let that go. Now step your left hand down. You can take a circle or two with your right wrist if you need to before moving on. When you're ready, extend your right arm all the way forward. Let your forehead become heavier down. Let the entire right side of your body lengthen, and then scoop baby up and in. Good, come back through center. We'll take that out to the side next. We'll take the arm into a T shape, angling the arm out so that the wrist is about in the same line as your right shoulder, maybe just a little bit ahead of it. Draw baby up and in. Feel the crown of your head move forward, sits bones move backwards. Good, so nice. Last variation, bend the elbow. You can slide the birth ball underneath your right shoulder. Keep this cactus shape with your arms, elbow at the same level of your shoulder, and then breathe into the right side of your chest. Hug your baby up and in. Good, and then let that go and come all the way down into a seat. We'll come into a cross-legged seat from here. So you can slide your, let's say, the left shin in front of the right to start. If you have a pillow, a cushion, something to sit down on top of, that's great. If not, just do what you can. Be where you can be. If it's not comfortable to be cross-legged, you can come into a different position here. But cross-legged is really nice because we'll be taking a stretch for the hips. So if you're in a cross-legged seat already, great. Start to walk yourself forward a little. You might be able to let your forehead rest down onto the birth ball. And notice if you can breathe all the way down into the hips here. Just noticing what sensation there is. Good, roll yourself back upright. Change the cross of your legs. So now the right shin can come in front of the left. And same thing here, you can stay upright if that feels best in your body, if that's already enough of a stretch for the hips. Or from this cross-legged seat, you can gently walk the birth ball forward, softening your forehead downwards. Breathe in and out your nose. And roll yourself back upright. Let the legs come apart now and take them around the birth ball. So you're almost coming into a butterfly shape with the legs, with the soles of the feet together, knees out wide, but the heels are really far forward of you. And your feet aren't going to be all the way together touching because you want the birth ball to come in between your legs. You just might feel a gentle stretch of the hips here. Nothing crazy, nothing super deep. So you can stay upright with tinted fingers on the ground, or if you like, you can rock yourself forward here. Maybe again, drawing one ear down to the birth ball. You can gently rock your upper body a little bit side to side here if that feels good. Notice if the stretch changes in your hips as you take that gentle rock from side to side. Good, and then when you're ready, roll yourself back upright. We will take one final stretch of the legs before coming down to our mats. So this time you'll take the legs out wide into a V shape. It can be a narrow V or it can be a big V, whatever feels best in your body. Same thing here, you can stay upright, lengthening through your spine, or if you like, you can soften yourself down over your birth ball. You can walk it out as far as you want. Keep a little bit of engagement in the legs, so stay with the feet flexed, toes drawing upward to the ceiling, inner thighs rotating upward to the ceiling as well. And give yourself a few breaths here in this last stretch of the legs that we're taking. And then roll your spine all the way back upright. Scoop your hands behind the backs of your knees to draw them in. Set your ball aside for a moment and just give your shins, your knees a sway from side to side. The last few shapes that we'll be taking will be down on our back. Now, if you start to feel dizzy anytime that you come down onto your back because the weight of the uterus does get bigger, know that you're always welcome to shift. But we will be active here, we will be moving, so we won't necessarily be in a position that will get you dizzy. We won't be there long enough. So, to come down onto your back, have your birth ball in front of you. Lower your left hip down. Lower down onto your left side using the strength of your arms. And then careful as you do this, you'll slide your legs on top of the ball, moving the left and then the right one. Position yourself so that your hips are just in front of the birth ball, and so that your body is supported by the mat underneath you. Then you can take your hands down to the mat. And you are welcome to stay here for a few moments. Or if you'd like to make this a little more active, you can draw your feet forward and then maybe lift your hips a few inches off the mat. So coming into a gentle bridge. We won't hold here, we'll just lower the hips back down. And then slide your heels forward, lift your hips up. Good, and then lower back down. And it's okay if you're only getting an inch or two off the ground. The weight of baby might be quite heavy here. Do that a few more times, getting some more activation through the glutes. And again, the glutes do tend to get softer during pregnancy, do tend to lose a bit of tone. So this exercise can be really nice for maintaining some tone in that area. Good, take just a few more. And then stay with your knees over the ball next time that you come in. So if you're earlier on in your pregnancy, in the first trimester maybe, you might stay here for Shavasana. But sometime around the second trimester, the weight of the uterus becomes a little bit too heavy. You'll notice the point at which it's a little too much. So if that is the case for you, if you're second or third trimester, you can lower your right foot down, keep your left foot lifted on the ball, and then pivot yourself all the way onto your right side. Bend your right knee so you're creating kind of a 90-degree angle with the leg. And we'll set up for a restorative shape here. So you can keep the leg over the ball, taking a single leg drain here. You just want to make sure that you are comfortable, that you are grounded. If you want a pillow or a blanket to slide underneath your right ear, that's fine. If you have one nearby, you're more than welcome to take one. And so if you can let your body become a little bit heavier, and the left leg can become a little bit lighter. Breathe down into your belly. Breathe down into baby. Notice any sensation in the legs here. So the single leg drain is really nice during pregnancy as we carry around a bit more weight, put more pressure on the legs. There does tend to be some swelling that can happen. So this can be really nice to take to relieve some of that swelling. Good, and then whatever way feels most intuitive, you can switch around to your second side. So maybe you roll back onto your back first and slide yourself around to go all the way down onto your left side this time.
And so you should be on the left side now with the right leg extended over the ball, lifted over the ball, left leg bent to about a 90-degree angle, whatever is comfortable. Maybe you're using your left arm as a pillow, or maybe you're using an actual pillow if you have one nearby. And let yourself soften as you come into this second side, the second leg drain variation. And again, breathe all the way down into your belly. Breathe all the way down into where baby is. Gently inflating and softening the belly with your breath. And let yourself enjoy this shape. Let yourself enjoy these moments of stillness. Giving your body thanks for all the hard work that it does. For all the amazing things that it does, creating life. Bringing your baby into this world. And we'll move slowly into our final rest from here. Know that you can stay on either of these sides if you'd like to for longer. You could have one or both of your legs extended up on the ball. If you're in center, you're more than welcome to stay there even longer. You're more than welcome just to push that ball away and come flat down onto your back. If you are already on your left side, stay there and just slide the top leg onto the bottom one, letting the ball go, letting yourself soften even deeper down onto your left side. And again, you might slide a pillow or a blanket underneath your left ear. You might slide another pillow underneath the left side of your belly, maybe one in between your thighs if you have one nearby. Just let yourself come into a position for just a few moments that invites ease and invites rest. And breathe in. And then sigh away. Take another breath in. And sigh it away. You are more than welcome to stay in this side lying Shavasana for all the time that you have. And I will begin to cue us out into the rest of our days. So if you're staying, just go ahead and mute me now. Otherwise, start to invite gentle movements back to your body, giving your fingers, your toes a wiggle. Crawl your hands down to the mat. Use the strength of your arms rather than your belly to lift yourself up. And make your way into an upright seat. Lifting up into a long, tall spine, maybe leaning back or forward on your birth ball if you choose. Otherwise, coming into a straight spine, lifting up. Draw your hands down onto your baby, onto the center of your belly, just reminding yourself why you showed up for this practice today. Breathe down into your belly. Let it out through your lips. One more time, breathe in. And let it go. Thank you all so much for joining me for our practice today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.